All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about an amortization table. Here's one that I've created in Excel, and we'll talk about how you can create this as well. If you don't want to create it from scratch, you can always download it from me. I've got a link here in the description section that you can just go ahead and download this spreadsheet that I've created. Now, an amortization table basically just tells you how long it will take you to pay something off, a loan that you have, and it will typically show you month by month or maybe sometimes year by year how much you have paid towards the loan, how much of that was interest, how much of that was principal, how much is remaining. So I've just created that for you here in Excel, and let's walk through it. The first thing I want you to see is the payment number. I've done this for monthly. And then it'll tell you how many years you are in. So for example, 6 months in is half a year, and how much of the balance remains, how much each payment is going toward interest and principal, any additional principal that you might be paying, and then the total of those two. Of course, this is we're not making any additional, so we're still at the 573, the new balance, and then the loan to value and the equity. So let's step through it here. The value of the property here in B2, all these yellow fields are going to be variables. So the value of the property I've set to 150. You can make that whatever you like. If you're doing this for a car, of course, the values will be much different than it would be for a house, but the same math principles hold true. So let's say the value of the property is $150,000. Now, when you bought this piece of property, this home or this car or whatever, you probably put down a down payment. That down payment reduced the amount of your loan, and so the current balance for the loan in this situation I've said is $120,000. That means you put down $30,000, you have a $120,000 loan against the value of a $150,000 house. The next field is the rate. This is the interest rate that you're charged. I've set this at 4%. The next one down here is the principal and interest payment. So typically your bank's going to tell you what this has to be. And also this allows the spreadsheet to, instead of calculating that for you, we're going to let you input that here because that's going to make the spreadsheet a little bit more powerful, because it doesn't always have to be at the beginning of your loan. You might come to this and say, well, I'm 5 years, 8 years, 14 years into my loan. What you can do here is then put in what that monthly payment is. Again, monthly payment minus any add-ons like insurance or taxes, and then you'll still be able to use the spreadsheet. And the next field is for any extra payments that you might be making monthly towards your purchase. So let's see how this works. Let's say right now in G3, it tells me we're at about 30 years to pay this off. Let's say that I make an extra $100 a month. I just cut it from 30 years down to 22.5 years. That's pretty significant. I can do the same thing. I'll add a little bit more. So now I'm adding $150 extra, and I've got it down to a 20-year mortgage at this point. What if I were to get a better rate? I'm at 4% now. What if I were to get 3.5% from the bank? And I'm still making that same payment now of what we've decided is $723. So 20 is now cut to about 19 years. So we shaved another year off of the mortgage. And so what you see is you can begin to calculate and play with these numbers and understand when it's going to be paid off. The table underneath is a monthly guide. The first one is the payment month, the payment number, and then here it tells you the years. So at payment 12, you're at 1.0 years. Now, in this scenario, at payment 12, you'll have $115,000 left on your loan, your balance. You know, and I've heard a lot of people say through the years, wow, it's such a scam because when you get a mortgage, all of those payments, so much of it goes toward interest in the beginning, and they don't let you pay off the principal till you get like 20 years in. Well, it's not a scam, it's just math, right? Because here's how this works. When you pay a loan, the first thing the bank does is says, what's the cost of the interest since the last payment period? And so to figure that out, we basically just take the interest rate divided by 12, and we're going to multiply that times the beginning balance. So B4, which in this case we now have set at 3.5%, divided by 12 times $120,000, and that tells us $350 is the interest for that period. And the rest of that $573 is going to be $223 principal, and then we add some more principal, $150. Then we have a new balance. Now the next month, the new balance is $119,627. You send in that same payment but this time more of it's going to go towards principal. Why? Because that interest now, instead of saying 3.5% divided by 12 times 120, it's 3.5% divided by 12 times 119,627. So as you pay off the balance every month forward, then the interest is less and the amount going towards your principal is more. So it's not a scam, it's just math. That's the way compound interest works when you take out a loan. When you save, compound interest works the opposite way, right? You have to save a lot in the beginning, and then at the end it starts to become really powerful. It's exactly the same thing here, just in reverse. So that's my amortization calculator. Feel free to download it from Dropbox in the description below.